Hey everybody, welcome back to City Sewers. So today is it's going to be a bad day for the baby goats, but it is a necessary evil. Today they are going to be disbudded. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, disbudding is where we will actually cauterize their horn buds to keep them from growing horns. Now, why would we do that? The reason is for safety, for their safety, for people's safety, because a lot of goats that are horned have the potential to get their head stuck in a fence, and then if they get stuck, they panic and they try to get out, and many goats in the past have broken their own necks trying to get out of a fence that they're trapped in. The other safety reason is for people's safety, because a lot of people who have children are actually getting miniature goats as pets, and you don't want to have a horned animal accidentally injure a child. So that's another reason. And because of just the operation that we have, most of the time anybody who gets one of our babies is getting them for a pet reason anyway. So that's the reason that we disbud, and today's the day, because you want to do it before the horns really start growing. So they're 10 days old today. So you don't disbud any younger than 10 days because they're very fragile, and sometimes the horn buds, especially on does, can be just small enough that you can't feel the margins on it very well, and you want to make sure that you can cauterize the entire horn bud. Now, the story of the does that we have, what happened with them is that they were actually disbudded late because that particular year the breeder had been overwhelmed with babies, because that previous fall they had been going through a move and one of their bucks got out and bred all the does all at once, and so they had a lot more babies at the same time than they were expecting, and so they were a little late with disbudding. And so my girls have horn scurs, and if you don't know what a horn scur is, Betsy, hey, show me your head. Hey, let me see. This thing right here on Betsy's head that she doesn't want to show us. Okay, here we go. This right here is a horn scur. So it's horn that still grows, but it's not normal horn. So she's got a little one here and a bigger one here. Now, horn scurs don't hurt anything. They're just not very pretty, and both the goats do have them. Jane's are smaller. She did used to have a bigger one, but because they're not as solidly secured to their head as a full-blown horn would be, hers actually broke off. And so she has like little tiny ones hidden in her hair, but she doesn't have real horns. So the reason that we're trying to get the babies in and get it done is so that it can be done right. Now, I don't have any of the equipment to do it myself, and I don't have the expertise or the confidence to do it myself. So I actually take them over to my goat mentor's house. Oh, don't eat my ear. Some very tired babies. I know, beautiful. So today was a very terrible, awful day for the babies. Unfortunately, I was unable to film it just due to respecting the privacy of my goat mentor and her property. So that's okay. We still got the job done. The babies received a shot of Banamine to help with the pain before, and I mean, obviously it's not fun, but it was done quickly and efficiently, and so now they're plumb worn out. It was a very eventful day for them, and they were seriously fine. Like, a lot of times babies will want to run and nurse for comfort or whatever, but these babies, as soon as they were done, they were put back down on the ground. They were like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go explore now, and they were fine. So they will be fine. Mostly they won't even notice that anything happened. They will be completely oblivious. They and they won't grow horns. So they'll be fine, and they'll keep growing and being adorable. They just will have some bald spots for now because the hair got shaved off their heads. And then when the hair grows in, you'll never be able to tell what happened. Immediately after the iron was applied to their horn buds, they did get an ice pack as soon as it was done, and then some cornstarch to help plug any wounds. Like, there's not usually going to be any bleeding, but the cornstarch will help if there is any issues, and it just helps them with the healing process. So that's why they have a little dusting of white on their heads, and they're doing fine. So they're napping. They had a lot of fun exploring around in the yard over there and getting to climb around on new stuff, and they were completely fine. So now they're napping, and they'll be probably completely back to normal by tomorrow. And so that's disbudding. So disbudding is terrible, awful for just a few minutes, and then life goes on. They're resilient little guys, so they'll be fine. And then Miss Jane is completely unperturbed. She went with us for moral support. Hi, Mama. Now Jane will have a few adjustments to her diet just because she has 3 kids this year. Last year she had 2 big kids, and even with just the 2 of them, she struggled with her weight because she throws everything she's got into producing milk for her babies. So I talked to my mentor, and she gave me some advice on some diet changes for her just to increase her calorie intake. And so it looks like at nighttime we may be separating Betsy again from everybody just so that Jane has the opportunity to eat more grain and have more calories going into her, because she does have 50% more babies this year. She has 3. And if we're having any hope of milking her, then I don't know what's going to happen with just the way that her body works when it comes to milking. So if she can handle the workload of 3 babies just fine, and also being milked, then we'll do that. But if she can't, then we'll just have to put off milking for a while. So we're going to increase her grain and see if that makes a difference, because she has started losing some weight. She doesn't look terrible yet. She's not emaciated. But last year she did get really thin, and she lost hair. Like, she looked pretty bad. Which, I mean, every goat is going to be different, and she just happens to put more of her body into milk production. So she produced really well for a first timer, but it took a lot out of her. So we're making some adjustments to her diet, and hopefully she does well with that. And I mean, she'll be fine regardless. So it may mean that we just have to wait longer to milk her, or with the calorie intake increase, then she'll be fine, and we can milk her as scheduled at 2 weeks postpartum. But we'll just have to see how that goes. As always, this is your urban nerd with a goat herd telling you can grow where you're planted. So Audrey, what are you doing with Colonel?
So we were doing like a little marathon because he likes running a lot, and he just runs zoom right past the chickens, and he like does a little marathon, and I start running with him.
Yeah?
Do you have all 3 of them? He kept hopping on my hands, and I went like dun, 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 with his hands in my hand. Walking on 2 feet, he was like. Oh no! Your hands. Hi, nice to meet you. Your hand. No, he was scared. Oh my gosh. He almost. Yeah.